Welcome to Bonsai, and today we're going to be doing some work on my Scots Pine. This is a nursery stock Scots Pine that I've been working on over the past couple of years, and it's really starting to build up some nice character. It's early spring in the UK, so it's a great time to come in and just have a look at how it's developing. I can see there's lots of candles, so we're going to be doing some candle pinching today, and there's lots of clusters of branches as well, so we're going to be doing some initial thinning. The wire that I placed on this in early winter has now set, and in some places it's actually biting into the branch, and that's fine with pines. When you grow them rapidly, those scars kind of plump out and they fill out pretty quick, but we want to make sure that they don't get too deep because it can end up ringing the cadmium layer, and that can become quite problematic. So I'm going to zoom you in and we'll take a 360 view look at the tree now. So here's the front of the tree, coming around to the side, to the back of the tree, back round to the side and to the front. You can see the root pruning is coming on really nicely with this tree. We've got a nice radial root base starting to form here, and it's looking very mature, so I'm really pleased with how this is coming on. So first things first, we want to get the wire off the tree so that it doesn't end up biting in too much. For this I've got some stub nose pliers, as you can see, and this will help me just come in and cut the wire and get it off without having to move the branches too much. This can be quite a long process. But it's important to do it this time of year so that you don't end up with huge wire marks and then ringing the cadmium layer, which will end up killing the branches. So I can see the wires have just started biting in now, so it's a good time to remove this. With pines, unfortunately, a lot of this nice movement will end up straightening out over the course of the growing season. So that's why for pines I like to bend the branches, but also using clip and grow to help create those really sharp angles and nice twists. And you really can't replicate that with wire. So with pines, unlike my kind of other trees, I'll use both wire and clip and grow to get the shape that I'm looking for. So I'll zoom you in and we'll have a look at the wires on this branch here. So you can see here how the wires have been wired directionally, and particularly around this area it's starting to bite in. So I'm going to try and remove it without the stub nose pliers and see how we get on with that first. Yeah, it's coming out quite easy. You can see that where the wires begin to bite in, but it's not so deep that it's damaged the branch. So when I'm doing this, I'm holding the branch body in place and then just twisting the wire off, rotating it the opposite way in which it's kind of wired on. We've also got some really nice gins here. Oh, this one's broken, that's a shame. So today I'll be putting some lime sulfur on them as well to treat them. So going around to the other branch now, same process, holding the branch in place and just unwiring. Some people say it's bad to unwire and that, you know, wire is really cheap and that you should just cut it off. But as long as you're not kind of really bending the branch this time of year, it should come off quite easily, and then that can be reused. I don't like to waste things. But if it is, you know, quite a tricky area, or you think you're going to damage the tree, then absolutely, you know, prune that off. It's not worth losing a branch for the sake of 20p or however much it costs for the wire that you're saving. Also, I really like the smell of pines. They give off such a nice kind of scent with the, you know, with the citrusy kind of smell. So that's the wire now taken off. I can see there's some stubs that I've left on here. They're bleeding a little bit because the tree's, you know, actively growing. So I'm probably not going to reduce them back just yet, and I'll wait until maybe late summer or kind of early autumn before I begin to kind of cut those back to the branch and make them a bit flusher. So the next thing I want to do is look at these candles. So we've got 3 branches here. So I'm going to remove the back one because it's growing back in towards the tree. And, you know, whilst I'm still trying to get back budding here, I also want the branches to have directional pruning. This branch is really long, so we're going to come in a bit and pinch it back. But for now, I'm just going to work my way around the tree, doing some branch selection. We see here we've got kind of 3 branches now, all coming from one spot. So I'm going to remove the outer one. It's very long, and it's not really adding much to the tree's design. And now that will give this kind of smaller branch, which I think was weak, which was probably why I didn't kind of prune it back over winter. It'll give it some extra light. And hopefully we'll see that take off now. You can see here we've got a wound. So I'm going to use this cut paste here. And I'm just going to paste it on this wound because the tree's growing and that will bleed quite a bit. So now we're on to this branch here. We've got one that's here growing back in towards the tree that we can remove. And then we've got a cluster of little ones here, which I'm just going to leave for now until they, you know, extend a little bit further. Coming up into the top of the tree, unfortunately we lost this leader that I was hoping to use. But the end here has got lots of vigour. So we need to come in and just remove some of these shoots. There's about 10 here, so we want to take it back to only 2 branches. So we're going from 1 to 2, and this will stop it from swelling. So I've reduced these back now to 2, and I'll come here back in a minute and I'll pinch this top one. Coming around to this branch here, we've got a nice bud that's starting to form just here, which hopefully, you know, after winter or whenever, we can prune the branch back to here, giving it a bit more, making it a bit more compact. For now, coming up here, we've got one that's facing inwards, and then these 2 we're going to pinch back in just a sec. Finally, we've got this branch out the back here. We've got 2 shoots here, that's fine. We've got a shoot that's kind of going back towards the tree, which we can remove, and reducing 3 candles down to 2. So now we've done some branch selection, it's time to come in and do some candle pinching. So you'll see across the tree we've got candles at different heights, and that indicates how vigorous that side of the tree is. So here, here and here are really long, so we want to pinch them back quite hard, whereas these ones here are quite small, so we may decide to pinch them slightly or just leave them entirely. And to pinch, all you do is you hold the candle firmly at the base, and then grasping the candle above, pull it up like that. So you can see here now that these have been pinched. What will happen is these needles will continue to extend, and we'll end up with buds all along here and potentially back buds all the way along this branch, which is what we're looking for. So I'll zoom you in and we can do the next candle pinching. So here's the next vigorous candle. Like I said, you want to hold it like this, really firmly, grabbing the top and just pull it like that. And there's the candle, and that's what's been left. You'll see that there's some little candles next to it. I'm just going to leave those, they don't need anything doing. Coming round to this one here, we're not going to pinch it back as hard, maybe halfway, like that. And the same for the one up here. So next we've got a candle here, I'm just going to take the tip off. And the ones at the back here, I'm probably going to just leave them, let them extend a little bit longer, and then maybe in a couple of weeks come back in again and pinch those candles. That's the candles now, all pruned. The last thing I'm going to do is just rake back some of this moss so that it doesn't crawl up the trunk and end up damaging the bark or those really nice surface roots that we've been working on. Despite these pines being in full sun and the hottest part of the garden, which gets really intense heat all day, because I end up watering these trees quite a bit, moss grows really happily all over the surface of the soil. So whenever I'm doing a bit of a pruning or anything like that, I just need to make sure that we're pulling that moss back so that we can keep that trunk and that flaring or that nabari nice and clean and free of moss. So that's the tree now all pinched and branch selection completed. I've cleared the moss from the soil, so let me show you how much I've taken off the tree today. So here are all the candles that I've taken off the tree. See, we've got some particularly long ones, taken off a branch as well. I'd say we've probably taken off about 30% of the tree's foliage, so it should continue to grow pretty vigorously now for the rest of the summer. So if you've made it this far, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, welcome. There's a subscribe button in the bottom corner of the screen there. And our next step for this is to put it back out on the bench in full sun so that it can continue growing really vigorously for the rest of summer. So thanks for watching and look forward to seeing you in the next one.